If you're here, who's watching?
My wife?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm editing all this out. We haven't even started yet. You ready?
No, but let's do this.
This could be the actual intro. In 3, 2, 1. What do I say?
Speed and marker.
Hello, friends. I'm Brian.
And I'm Ian.
And this is Gizmo Board Games. Hey, everyone. Editing Brian here. I just wanted to jump in because in our excitement to film the top 10, I forgot to do the intro I wanted to do. And that is to say, this is the 1-year anniversary of me deciding to go ahead and start doing some board game video content for YouTube. I've really enjoyed watching content creators for a few years while I was in the hobby, and I figured I'd go ahead and share my opinion. Not really expecting people to watch a whole lot, but hopeful, ever hopeful. And in that year, I've got now over 100 subscribers. I can't believe that. I thought maybe at the end of the year I'd have like 25 at best. That means it's not just the people who live with me and work with me that are coming back for more of my videos. So I really appreciate your being here. I hope in that year you've seen improvement, and I'm still trying to make everything better. Better sound, better quality, better me as I get more used to what I'm doing and put myself out there. I'm kind of a quieter person, as I think a lot of us board gamers tend to be. So I just appreciate you for coming back and following along and liking the videos and subscribing if you have. And if you haven't, now's your chance. And I'll go ahead and pass it back over to Past Me as we get into my top 10 favorite games of all time. And we're back today with the top 10 of my top 50 and Ian's top 10 of however many he might have tried to make a top 10 out of. I guess before we get started, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I've been working with this guy for, almost 7 years now.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. And into board games before I came out here, not too terribly so. And then this guy just showed me everything that I've been missing out on, all sorts of different types. And it's been great. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, you're a big RPGer and wargamer.
Yeah, lots.
So he might bring that angle into the list where I do not. So if you like that type of stuff, maybe pay attention to his list. I don't know what's on it. We haven't looked at each other's lists at all. Yeah, I mean, he offered to, but I was like, no, I want to kind of get the live reactions. We might have some crossovers. You having played some of the games I like, liking them too. I don't know, though. I have a feeling you know more about what might be on the top of my list than I know about what might be on the top of yours.
I still think you're going to surprise me.
Maybe. That being said, we'll get started here in a moment, but I've done this for the other 2 videos, and if you haven't seen those, check those out before watching the top 10, or not, whatever. Everybody loves the top 10 the most. They're the best games. They're the ones that matter anyway. The rest of the list, forget them. But there are 2 other videos that I've done by myself before this, counting down 50 to 11. We're doing the top 10, and I've introduced On the Table. We just got done playing this not too long ago.
Yeah,
it's your game, Belgian Beer Race. Or Beers Race.
Pretty hard at it too.
I squeaked out a victory at the end. It was pretty close until the scoring cards.
It was close until we started counting. Oh.
No. We got to the very last scoring item before I jumped ahead. But yeah, this was a fun game. A little race around the map and get things type game.
If I wasn't drinking, if I wasn't not drinking, this would have been a really fun game to drink it to and visit all the different Belgian breweries. And it sets a good checklist for what breweries to visit in Belgium too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I've been to a few of them.
I haven't.
But this isn't a show about breweries. It's a show about games.
Right. Family friendly beer, not family friendly.
Friendly beer. Friendly games. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the top 10. I'll let the guest go first.
Okay.
Your number 10?
Well, if you're okay with it, I've got an honorable mention first.
Sure.
You mentioned.
Yeah, I mentioned mine back in my first video, but yeah, honorable mention. Go for it.
My honorable mention, because I feel like it doesn't quite belong in board game land, is D&D 5e. You don't necessarily need a board for it. It is very dice and role play heavy, and it's one of my favorite games that I've picked up since I came to Germany. And I know the Wizards of the Coast have been less than stellar, but you couldn't pay me to stop playing it. I love this so much.
Yeah, I figured D&D would show up somewhere on the list. I expected it to be on the list, but honorable mention's probably a good spot for it, especially for the board game viewing audience.
Tried to keep it more to board games.
Yeah, it's all right. No, I told you do whatever. It's your list.
So number 10.
Number 10.
Number 10 for myself was Lords of Waterdeep. I also just the expansions included for all this stuff. Again, the D&D parallels, I love that. And worker placements, I never really tried until meeting up with you and
Right.
trying them out with you. And I remember having a lot of fun with it, and I've picked it up, and me and my wife have played it a couple of times. It's really fun. It really is.
Yeah, that was on my list somewhere. I don't have my full list handy, but it was in my 50. So I also really enjoyed that one. All right, my number 10. I should have been more prepared, but I know what my number 10 is anyway. It's Final Girl. It's a solo only game, so I know you haven't played this one.
There we go.
But I've got the full season 1 collection. Season 2 should be coming soon. Season 3, I think, this year to Kickstarter again, because they're not stopping as far as I know. But I really enjoy the Final Girl theme and trying to survive the horror movie tropes, saving the victims if you can, and beating the bad guy if you're able to, or whatever the case is for each individual game.
Yeah, I don't like those horror movie tropes. I'm that short and nerdy friend who dies right after the black guy. So
Right, yeah.
I don't live long.
No, I don't either in that game. I'm a very bad Final Girl. I'm the horror movie where the bad guy wins 90% of the time I play that game. But yep, it's my favorite. I mentioned it a bunch. And number 10.
All right.
Number 9.
Number 9, Viticulture. This is one of 2 games from my top 10 that you introduced me to that I tried to introduce my parents to, and they did not enjoy it. They thought it was a little too complicated for their liking. Again, another worker placement one that I kind of find the same enjoyment out of Lords of Waterdeep, just that whole worker placement and trying to figure out where everything goes. But just the idea of being able to make wine, I don't know why it's kind of calming, and it's really fun to just go back and play it and just be like, I'm gonna make a Chardonnay today because I feel like it.
Right. Yeah, I remember the first time we played this, I blew you out of the water because you didn't make wine in a game about making wine.
Nope.
So didn't get many points in that one, but you've gotten better since then. Yeah, I've enjoyed that one. You might see it again later on the list. Maybe not. You might have seen it already in the other videos. You didn't. Spoiler alert. Yeah, but you mentioned trying to introduce your parents. It's not like, I know people want to say it's an introductory type game, but it's really not. Like, I think it's more complex. You probably want to get them started on something a little simpler, like Lords of Waterdeep or Stone Age or something. Probably.
I should have, but I know how much my mom likes wine. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know if you've ever played it or if anybody else has played it, but there's Napoleonic miniature war games. My dad's super into those. The rule book is probably 15 to 20 pages long just to move people around a board. It's ridiculous. And after they got finished with it, my dad turned to my mom and went, "You are never allowed to complain about how hard it is to learn Napoleonic battles." He equated that to viticulture. I'm like, wow. It wasn't that hard, but okay.
Yeah, I guess if you're not into the hobby, then everything's kind of overwhelming at first.
At first, yeah. Yep.
Well, I'll get on to my number 9. I got to take a little peek at the sheet here. Oh yeah, this is the one game on my top 10. I think it's the only game on my top 10 that I don't own. Yeah, I know, it's weird. It's Keyflower. I got this from the library. I don't know if you played it or not. No. But it's a tile drafting. You got, depending on the number of players, you got a number of tiles out there. And you're spending your meeples to draft tiles, or you're putting the meeples on the tiles to get the resources. Or if the tiles you've drafted in your city, you can move the resources around to where you need them to be to collect points too at the end of the game, or even mid-game. I don't remember, it's been a while. But there's just a lot going on. Tile drafting and meeples as resources and meeples as workers.
It kind of sounds like Furnace almost.
Not quite.
Not quite? Okay.
Because your meeples, you're hiding them behind a screen. There's like 4 different colors. And like once you put a meeple of a color, like either bidding on a tile or using, a tile, like that's the only color of meeple that can be used for any of the actions on the tile. And if I put like one meeple to bid for the tile, you have to put at least 2 of the same color. So you gotta keep track of like who's got maybe what color meeples. And if somebody plays like into your city, at the end of the round, you'll get their meeples that they played in New York City.
It's solid.
Yeah. It's really neat. Very inter-meeple active game. Like you use them as workers or as money, currency, basically, to do a bunch of things. And I really enjoyed it. Got it from the library and probably get it again at some point. Play it again.
Keyflower?
Yeah, Keyflower. A lot of fun. Quite complex-ish, but not overly. Yeah, I really like that one. It's the only one I don't own, I think, from my top 10, from most of my top 50.
Nice.
I tend to play and like the games I have.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
All right, number 8.
Number 8 for myself. It's a board game called Napoleon's Last Battles. It covers the final days of Napoleon's 100-day campaign, the battles of Quatre Bras, Ligny, Waterloo, and Wavre, which many people forget happened at the same time as Waterloo. It's really fascinating. You can do some great alternate history with it. My dad absolutely loathed it because I found a way for Napoleon to win the Battle of Waterloo convincingly. It would have never happened in real life, but I found a way, and it just bugs the crap out of my dad. But it's, like I said, it's a lot of fun, a lot of replayability. It's one of those strategic war games where if the dice just go one way that day, you could have the best plan in the world, and it's just going to get wrecked.
I've not played that one. Yeah, we mentioned you're a war gamer. He's also a big history buff, so he probably knows everything about all these battles that he just named that I've never heard of, other than Waterloo. Yeah, so I've not tried that one. I'm probably not going to at this point, unless we meet up again in the future, because you'll be gone here in a couple months.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's all right. Comes with the territory. All right, my number, whatever number we happen to have been on. 8. All right, I mentioned this one in my favorite game, new games from last year, new to me games from last year, whatever it was, as being my favorite. So that means everything else on my list is going to be something I didn't play for the first time last year. Just for those of you who hate the Call of the New, there you go. My Call of the New highest one is number 8. That's Hamburg by Stefan Feld. Little city collections game I got. You can't see it now. Usually you can kind of see it. You don't care. He doesn't care. You played it? I don't remember.
I think that I have, actually.
Yeah. You're drafting 5 different colors of cards, and you're either using the colors just to take actions, to get meeples or whatever that color, or you're building them into your city, and then you can generate the resources based on what they build. And you've got to have the right color meeples and the right amount of money and the right color cards to do the different things. And it's a real tight game. It's another game where you only get, like, I think 3 or 4 rounds of 4-ish actions. So
I do remember at Essen Spieltag there was a huge booth set up with all of those: Hamburg, New York City, Istanbul. I think Istanbul is one of them.
Not from the city collection. Marrakesh. Amsterdam.
I don't know, but there was this very large display there. People were playing it all over the place. So I watched people play it. I just haven't had the opportunity yet.
Right, yeah. But I really like that one. It's my favorite from the collection. I think it was the first one I played when I got the collection too, because I heard it was the best. Because it used to be Bruges. If you ever see the game Bruges, yeah, it's the same game, just kind of spruced up, and a couple changes with all the additional bits in the box from expansions and whatnot. So
fantastic.
Hamburg, Bruges. I guess I've never played Bruges, but I guess technically kind of the same game. So there you go. Call the New. Go away. It's an old game too. But yeah, my number 8, Hamburg.
All right. Number 7?
7.
Countdown. Not to stray from what I last said, but Axis and Allies. It's another one of those war games. Kind of like Risk, but very much centralized on certain portions of world history, notably World War I and II. Again, kind of lumping the different types, because there's Axis and Allies 1941, there's Axis and Allies just the whole of World War II, the Pacific, World War I. There's also a zombie version. I haven't played that, and I'm not going to, because, come on, historical accuracy here. We care to pretend about it.
I might play the zombie one.
Fair.
I almost played Axis and Allies once, I think.
Knowing your love of games, it probably would not be high up on your list.
That's my 2 cents to the conversation. I know what he's talking about this time.
We're starting to get there. The tracks are starting to align.
The question is, Risk going to show up on the list now?
It was on my finals, but it
Your
did not
shortlist.
make it.
Okay, yeah. I don't like Risk, too much randomness. It's not a bad game otherwise. I just don't like the dice chunking randomness and the fact that there's the one known kind of good strategy.
At least with Axis and Allies, there are several different ways to go about winning the game. You don't have to just, oh, I got to go for Australia, otherwise you're screwed.
Right, yeah. Cool. Is that a long playing game, or is that something we could play pretty quick? I don't remember.
Well, Axis and Allies 1941 seemed to play pretty quick. I felt so, but like the large World War II game, no, that takes forever.
Cool. My number 7 probably will show up on your list, I'm guessing. It's a game we play together, and I know you love and bought for your family too. It's Wingspan.
Oh,
Wingspan.
Oh, yes.
The classic bird engine builder game. It's a lot of fun. Millions of birds when you got the big box like I do. And I like what the expansions have added, even with the nectar and the wild powers and end of round goals and end of game goals and the things that they've added since then. I haven't broke out the Asia yet with the 2-player mode.
Yeah.
And the upgraded solo mode being mostly, or not mostly, but a lot of solo player. Like, supposedly that solo mode's better, and I haven't broke that out yet. So something to look forward to, I guess, for changing it up there. But Wingspan, I really enjoy it. A lot of fun. I'm a Stonemaier glutton.
Stonemaier makes some good games.
Yeah. So that's my number, or whatever number we happen to have been on just now.
15, 16, somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
Well, you stole my thunder.
Oh.
Because my number 6 is this game called Wingspan.
Almost a direct crossover. Dang, I should have put one lower. Or you should have put one higher.
It was a toss-up between Axis and Allies and Wingspan, and I just ended up going with the one that I played more recently, and the one that my wife just absolutely loves. And I will fight anyone who plays me and takes the little penguin guy. That's my card. Get your own.
Yeah, I'm not a big bird fan. I grew up liking bald eagles. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not bird picky. I'll be llama picky and ape picky. I'm not bird picky. Yeah, anything else you want to expand upon with the Wingspan, or
it's just
about covered it?
It's one of my favorite games to play with my wife. We'll sit down and be like, board game night. Wingspan, sure. She loves it.
Cool. So my number 6, we're on 6, right?
Yeah, we're on 6.
I didn't mess that up anywhere. Been bad. My number 6 is Race for the Galaxy. I don't know if you've played this one either.
Can't say that I have.
It's simultaneous kind of action game where you've got 5 different actions you could be doing on your turn, and everybody's going to pick one of those 5 as the action they want to do. But you're going to do each of, I think they're phases and actions, but everybody will get a chance to do every phase that got played out on a round. So like, okay. I might hedge my bets that you're going to do like phase 1 because I really need phase 1 to do my phase 2. So like I'm seeing like phase 1 in this game is draw cards. So I need more cards to like do what I want to do. And I see that you also only got 1 card, so I'm going to hedge my bets that you're playing phase 1, but maybe we both play phase 2 expecting, and then, I might not be able to do like what I was planning on. But the cards also count as your money, like to play a card in your tableau, and all you're trying to do is build up a tableau of 12 or to get a bunch of points. And the game ends when either you run out of the point counters or somebody makes their 12. And that'll be the last round, then you just add up your points. But yeah, and the cards are the resource. So like you need to discard like 3 cards to play this card. But then it's an engine building too, so you can have cards that reduce that cost depending on what type of card it is and stuff like that. So a lot of fun. It plays pretty quick. Maybe we can play it after this if you stick around for a little bit.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever played this before. Again, throwing all these games under one umbrella. It's this thing called Pandemic. Yeah, there's like...
I might have heard of it.
There's a couple different ways to... It's... The Pandemic game nights that we have together have honestly become just such a highlight.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking base Pandemic, or are you talking like the legacies we've done? Or just the system as a whole?
The system as a whole, but specifically the legacies that we've done. Currently working through season 0, but 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Don't want to spoil it for y'all, but there's a pandemic. Yeah.
It might be.
Might just.
Yeah, that was my honorable mention. I don't know if you saw my first video. Of course you did. You've watched all my videos.
Of course.
Of course.
I sit here knowing everything you do.
So yeah, I didn't specifically put any of the legacies on, but as honorable mention, like all the legacies. Yeah, and then regular Pandemic and a different Pandemic were on
Rome,
previous lists as well. So yeah, I enjoy Pandemic. It's a good game to play together, especially your wife who doesn't like to overthink a lot sometimes.
There's a couple of times where we're just like, "Here's your turn, honey," and she just says, "Great, fantastic, I'm here being a part."
I'm playing too.
She has come up with some
oh yeah, definitely. She's saved us sometimes, and other times she's like a little kid with the steering wheel, like I'm driving. We love you, Katie. Don't kill me. Oh yeah, good pick. Mine, it's kind of fallen off for me over the years, but I really enjoy the legacy. I just don't want to like specifically throw them in and out in various places. So
I got you.
Like the current legacy season we're on would probably be pretty high on my list as we're playing it. My number 5 is a game that you might have heard about 15 minutes ago. It's called Viticulture. That's a worker placement game where you're building your vineyards and making wines and potentially building structures and buildings and all kinds of different things. It's another Stonemaier game because, I've been a Stonemaier fanboy. Kind of pulled me into the hobby with these games, and now I've kind of advanced to, Steffenfeld and stuff. But yeah, it's a good game. It's relaxing. Like even if you're not doing well in it, you can enjoy making the wine and drinking the wine while you play. Yeah, so it's a game I really enjoy, and I'm talking about the Essentials Edition. I think that's the only one they sell now anyway. But that added like the Grande worker and stuff that makes it a little more friendly of a game. Number 4.
Number 4. If anybody out there has played this, I congratulations because, geez,
I played it.
Probably. You've played a version of it because it's Status Pro Baseball.
Oh, okay, then I have, yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah, I don't think we have many sport gamers. We don't have anybody following my channel really.
This will change. But it's a great. It was one of the first games I remember playing with my dad, and it was just a great time to be like, hey, we're listening to baseball, playing baseball, and it's just a really fun way to pass some time. The only reason it's not higher up because my top 4 it was such a close race.
Right.
The only reason it's not further up is because I've actually never completed a full season.
It's hard. There's a lot of games in baseball.
Just a few. There's like at least 10.
Yeah. Have you thought about football?
Maybe I have.
Ooh, spoilers. I don't know if you paid attention but I grew up playing tabletop sports games such as Status Pro and APBA. What's the other ones I'm missing right now?
I don't want to say.
Replay Baseball, play games, yeah. So that's how I kind of got into the hobby and then expanded into more of the board game than the sport tabletop gaming. But yeah, Status Pro is one I'm least familiar with, but I know I played it probably once or twice. I think it's one of the more complex ones too.
And yeah, the card system to it can get pretty ridiculous pretty fast.
But yeah, good games if you like sports and especially for like solo playing.
Oh yeah, solo play for that is easy.
They play okay with like 2-player, but like solo play is super easy and probably what it's more made for anyway. My number 4 is a game I'm pretty sure I taught you. It's another worker placement. No, I don't want to say engine builder so much as train track builder. It's Russian Railroads. I thought for sure.
Is that the same as like a Zoom to Zug or?
No, that's Ticket to Ride.
Okay, Ticket to Ride I played in ALC.
Yeah, this is Russian Railroads.
I don't know. Oh yeah, we have.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, you can build a train route, or you can put that on the floor. You can build a train route, or you can build your business. I forget what they're called, but yeah, it's one of the tightest worker placement games I think I've ever played because there's only so many places you can go to move like the black train or the brown train, or so if somebody takes that spot, you could be really locked out. You've really got to pre-plan your actions and then hope you can get those actions. The scoring is ridiculous in that game. Like the first round, you might score 4 points. In the second round, you might score like 30. In the third round, you might score like 80. In the fourth round, you score like 150. Like, it's ridiculous, but it's so much fun. I really enjoy it. It was on my Rail Games list to get a hold of. Got a hold of it. I was super happy with myself. And then they announced Ultimate Railroads, like literally the month later, with all the expansions and stuff. So I should have just waited, but still happy to have it. Happy to play it. I really like Russian Railroads.
All right.
Number three.
Number three. My number three is, not to continue from what I said last time, but Pay Dirt. It is football on a board. A lot less complicated than Status Pro. It involves just scorecards and dice, and kind of like the baseball game that you do,
mm-hmm.
Which I completely spaced on the name now.
Play game or Replay Baseball?
I think it's Replay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Again, this one was actually the first game that I ever played with my dad, and we would play the 70s Broncos versus the 70s Cardinals. Let me tell you, some of those teams are awful. But recently,
those teams had a mother too. You monster.
But recently, there's a new guy who's been releasing yearly updates, because for a while you could only get like 73, 76, 81, 92. Like it was all over the place. But I think from about 2011 onwards, there's been a release every year. No, I haven't picked up the Broncos from the last 6 years. Why do you ask?
I didn't.
Okay.
They might have, because they know you're a Broncos fan.
They might have.
Yeah, I have not played that one. Football games always just take long. I never really got into them. Baseball, yes. Football, not so much. I like football more, though. It's weird. My number three is Orleans.
Ooh.
Bag builder game. I mentioned in the last video, Altiplano is always compared to Orleans, and it rightfully should be. I like Orleans better. It came first. I think it's just a tighter game, but I really like Altiplano too. I mentioned that in the last video. And yeah, I just really enjoy bag builders. I got the upgraded chips now, and I haven't played it since I got those. So maybe we can play that after we play the other game after this. You're here all night, right?
Oh yeah, no, I've got nothing else to do tomorrow.
Yeah, you brought your games too, right? We're gonna play all 10 of each of our games.
Yes.
Nice. But no, Orleans, I really like it. It's good deck builder. It's tight action, figuring out what you want to do, because you only got what you can pull. And
it's got a better arc to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true. I hate you. Number two.
Number two, probably my most played game.
Like the only not good game left on the list.
Yeah, everything else, it's just trash until you get to number one.
Yeah.
Number two is my most played game of the last probably 4 years, and that is Cribbage. Just a really simple, easy game that can go almost anywhere. It has a board. It doesn't need one. You can just keep track on a piece of paper, but the board makes it more fun when you skunk somebody and go, ah! I have a really nasty habit of being like, oh, I'm throwing a king and a 7 to my wife. What's she going to do with it? A 7 was cut. Great. And she threw an 8 and a 9. Wow. Wonderful. I have a really bad habit of doing that.
I'd like to say I know what you're talking about, but I don't think I've ever played Cribbage.
Well, since we're playing it after this, apparently.
Yeah, that's true. We'll knock it out tonight.
Solid.
Yeah, it's strange, because that game's been around for centuries, I think, right?
Yeah, and at least, God.
Yeah. I think the Brothers Murphy, they have one, I don't know if it's Cribbage, but one of those older, like, Peg and Block games is always on their list, too. Speaking of Call of the New, such as Cribbage, I sort of lied, but I don't care. I lied. This isn't a 2022 game, even though it was readily available in 2022. I've mentioned it a lot as one of my favorite games that I played before I got it even. I knew I was going to enjoy it. You probably know what it is. It's Ark Nova.
Ark Nova.
Yes. Build a zoo. Yeah, I really like the action selection in it. I like the engine building in it. I like the animals. I guess I'm kind of animal partial with a lot of games. But it's just been fun since I first read about what it did and how it worked, and just such a thinky game. It plays forever, but it never feels long. At least I don't think so.
No, it didn't feel long at all.
Yeah.
I would have put it as my number 10, but I've only played it once, and there's I don't know. I felt like I had to play a game multiple times for it to be in my top 10, but that was definitely a wonderful little game.
Yeah. So one of my favorites. I said that from before I got it, got my hands on it. I knew it was going to be, and it still is. Although I couldn't feel right putting something that new as number one. You're number one. The only game that matters.
The only game that matters. And I know that you don't like it, but it is near and dear to my heart, and I will play it until I die, is Settlers of Catan.
Nice.
Any expansion to it, and I've got them all, played them, love them. I feel like it is such a wonderfully crafted game with such simple rules that are so hard to master.
Yeah. It's a game that like is the introductory game. Like everybody understands like rolling dice. You teach them a little bit about collecting resources. You're allowed to trade. Even though I never do.
Why would I help you?
Yeah, why would I help you? Why would you help me? I don't understand trading in a game as someone who like thinks about like how am I going to do this. Like trading never even is a concept that ever occurs to me. Like I'm building my own game over here. Leave me alone. Yeah, I just don't like the dice random. It always seems like even when I think I've got a solid play, like I've got all the 6s and 8s covered, that's the game where 9s and 10s are rolled the whole game, and I still lose by like 10-4. So too much random for me. I appreciate the game. It definitely helped get me into the hobby, as along with probably everybody who's watching this. So it's a fun game. Not one I try to play very much myself.
I completely understand. It's tough to create a strategy when the dice can just go, today we're rolling 2s. Yeah. Why?
Yeah, I don't like it that much because it's not my kind of game. But it's a good game for sure. I used to own it.
I wonder who has that now. Dang.
Could be anybody.
Could be anyone.
Could be anybody. Yeah, it's a good solid pick for number one. I think a lot of people in the audience will get behind you there.
They better.
You probably have an idea what my number one is. I've only said it a whole bunch since we've met each other, known each other. I made you play it with me. I mentioned it on a few videos too in the past, but Concordia.
Yeah.
I just really enjoy this one. It helped me really step over the bound of moving from Catan into the bigger, heavier board games. And again, it's got the tight action selection, the tight resource management, the tight, you got to plan 3 moves ahead.
Oh my God.
That guy just took the city I had exactly enough money for, and now I can't go there. And now I've got to like restructure based on your action. And last year it came out with the Solitaria mode, which just brought it right back to me again, where now I don't have to try to teach somebody else to play it because like
you can just
the nature of our military lives, like our playing group come and go. He's about to go, like I've taught him all these games and now he's not going to be here to play him with anymore. So on to the next person. But yeah, Concordia has been my favorite game for a while. And I've him and hawed about, like obviously it's still in the top couple. I just didn't feel right this year putting Ark Nova into the one spot over it yet. So who knows what next year might hold. A bunch of new games on the horizon. And so that's our list.
Yeah. Sure, once I take Concordia back to the States and Katie and I play it a little bit more, that'll shoot right up into the top 3 at least.
Yeah. I really enjoy all these games, except for the couple on your list I haven't played. But yeah, so there you have it. 20 new games. Well, a couple. We didn't cross over as much as I expected, actually. I think just Wingspan and Viticulture.
Yeah.
I thought Concordia might show up somewhere on yours.
I only played it the once.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I've got it. It's just getting Katie to play it.
Yeah. So check them out. 18-ish games from the two of us. I hope you liked this list. If you did, give a thumbs up. Give Ian a thumbs up. Not me. You don't care about me. Subscribe to Ian's channel. It's Gizmo Board Games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Click the button below. Comment below your thoughts about our lists and how much you like his better than mine.
Unless you have something bad to say about Pay Dirt, I will find you.
He found me. We appreciate you being here, and catch you next time. You're edited out. He's out of the video. You don't even know what I'm talking about now because nobody's even there.
Why is there just a blank?
Why does he keep looking sideways? Why is the camera off center?